So today I am going to give my breakdown of the new official Moon Knight trailer and try to point out some things that some people might not have noticed and maybe give some insight into certain things. So if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. Now let's go ahead and start.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
I have a sleeping disorder. I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to Staying Awake.
So right off the bat, we kind of get a feel for the dissociative personality disorder that Mark Spector has. It's kind of just setting up that he has some type of mental illness because he's clearly trying to lock himself inside and chain himself to the bed. You see him have a bunch of different locks and deadbolt on his door, and he's also taping the door shut along the seams. I'm not sure what that would do really. But then he's also chaining himself to the bed with like another code lock attached to it. So he's trying to make it as impossible as it is so that if he were to awake as a different personality, he wouldn't be able to move or get out of bed, and that if he did, he would at least know about it after the fact.
I think I'm losing it.
Real catch you on. You're bloody useless, Stevie.
Stephen.
So now I feel like this clearly establishes that this is taking place in London. We can tell by the bus because London has those vibrant red double-decker buses, if you will. And then it looks like as well, I can't entirely tell, but it looks like the building he is walking into is potentially the London National Art Gallery. I tried to read the words at the top of the building, and I think that's what I can make out that it is, the London National Art Gallery. And it actually looks like he works here in sort of what looks to be like an Egyptian exhibit, which would make sense. So I also didn't say before, but I probably should have stated this. So if you're not familiar with Moon Knight Mark Spector, he has dissociative personality disorder, which they have been showing consistently throughout the trailer. And then he got his powers of Moon Knight from the moon god Khonshu, which is an Egyptian moon god. And it looks like he is working at the National Art Gallery in London in some type of Egyptian exhibit to maybe set up his love for Egypt and maybe its culture. So yeah, it looks like he works there, and you'll also notice that the woman that he's working with calls him Stevie, and he says Steven. But now his name is actually Mark Spector. That's his real name. So one of his identities is an identity called Stephen Grant, who's like kind of like a millionaire. He has money and stuff like that. It's one of his dissociative personalities. So it looks like for the beginning of this trailer, that is the personality that he is. He's the Stephen Grant personality.
I can't tell the difference between life and dreams.
Thank you.
Lost the contact lens.
Hope you find it.
Thanks.
So if you look here now too, it looks like there's this monster type thing walking towards him in a hallway. Now this looks like it's the moon god Khonshu, which is what gave him the powers. Well, I shouldn't say powers necessarily, but because he's really a street level hero, he doesn't have a lot of like extraordinary superpowers or like that. He's just kind of, boxing it out. But the moon god made him kind of like his right-hand man, so to speak, and because he saved his life. So Mark Spector actually kind of serves him. But the comics do some things, I shouldn't say strange, kind of cool, where they make you think that his encounter with Khonshu in the first place, that gave him kind of a new purpose in life. They kind of imply that it never happened in the first place in some runs. In some runs, it seems like they've established Khonshu as an actual like deity, like an actual god. And then in other comics, it makes it seem like it's all in Mark Spector's head because he already has dissociative personality disorder. So they kind of go even further to make you think that Khonshu itself might be kind of a personality of Mark's, and that it's none of it is real at all. So let's continue.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're alive. What's wrong with you, Mark?
Why did you call me Mark?
So now we see kind of like, we see this really cool imagery that I like where it shows like his reflections not acting the same as him. And it's kind of really Green Goblin-esque in the way that it operates, like from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1, how Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin would argue with himself in the mirror. I like that. It seems like he can maybe communicate with his hallucinations in his alternate personalities through mirrors and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be cool to see. And then we also see him potentially walking through where he works, because it looks like there's a bunch of Egyptian artifacts, and it looks like he pulls a key and a phone out of an Egyptian artifact, where the person on the other end of the line refers to him as Mark. Again, his original personality is that of Mark Spector, and the Stephen Grant personality is actually a dissociative personality. It's not his original personality.
It must be very difficult. The voice in your head. Shut up! There's chaos in you. Embrace the chaos.
So we get our first look at Ethan Hawke in this series. Now, I don't think Ethan Hawke has been fully confirmed to play anybody specific in Moon Knight, although when looking it up, it's possible. I should always say possible because I can't necessarily find anything concrete, but it's possible he's playing Randall Spector, which is Mark Spector's brother, and he is an antagonist at one point of Mark's in the comics. So it does look like Ethan Hawke is potentially playing a bad guy anyway, because he's a big name, and you know, if you're going to get a big name and they're not the lead character, they're probably the antagonist opposite the lead character. So it's possible that Ethan Hawke is playing his brother. He could very well also be playing someone else by the name of Raul Bushman, I believe, which was a member of like this archaeological crew that Mark was with when they went into Egypt, and Mark was basically left for dead, and then he was revived by the moon god Khonshu, and he tried to punish Bushman and his men, but I believe Bushman escaped. So he could be playing Raul Bushman as well, but it's up in the air either way. I think it's very possible that he is playing an antagonistic role. And then kind of going on what I said earlier, we see Mark Spector kind of kicking a mirror to destroy it while yelling "shut up," which kind of plays off of the fact that it could be a situation like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, where he's arguing with an alternate personality via the mirror. So he's like hallucinating, and he's trying to destroy the mirror to get it to stop. We then see a scene where he's driving a bus or a truck potentially, and he's holding a gun, and he's surprised that he's holding a gun. There's blood on him, and there's someone dead in the back. So this is very possible that this is him coming to from another personality, like he's switching personalities on the fly. And then we get a shot of the pyramids in Egypt potentially. So this might be where he actually is revived by the moon god Khonshu, and we might actually see some of these scenes in the show, which I'm assuming we will. There would be no reason as to not. And then we get a shot of him kind of forming his Moon Knight costume around himself, and he ends by punching demons and stuff like that, which is really cool. So I am really curious as to where the story is going to go, because the fact that he's fighting a creature like that, it's very, I don't know how kind of like out there they're going to get, if you know what I mean, like, because he is a street level villain, but he's a street level hero, but he has been a part of, you know, kind of mythical events in the past. So it's not necessarily out of the norm for him to like fight a demon or a creature like that, but for it to be like in the first season of the show that he's introduced, I'm just really curious to see where they're going to go with it. Like if they're going to go the mythical route and he actually is fighting a beast, or maybe he's not fighting a beast at all, and maybe he's just seeing whatever he's beaten the crap out of as a beast. I'm not entirely sure. But that about wraps up all I have to say about this trailer. It looks really good, and I do want to learn more about Moon Knight as a result. I already did, and everything that I've seen about Moon Knight in the past so far, I already do enjoy, but I do want to learn a lot more before this show starts up. And it looks like I've been seeing that potentially the last episode of Moon Knight will air the same week as Multiverse of Madness. So I think Marvel's probably doing that on purpose. They seem to be trying to like fill in the gaps of movies with different MCU shows. So this seems to be the case. But if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. And I appreciate you for watching the video.